Welcome to the Daily Review. This is Razak, Senior Trading Strategist here at CMTrading. And today is April 17, 2024, and today is Wednesday morning. So looking at the highlights of the day, the markets drift after that major sell-off we've had over the past 4 days. But looking at today's major economic events, so we start out the day at 8 a.m. South African time out of Great Britain. We have a CPI, Core Price Index number coming out. That's followed with at 6 p.m. Bank of England's Governor Baily will be speaking. Now, looking at the various markets are almost all across the board drifting, starting out with the Forex symbols, the major pairs drifting. And as we look at the indices, both the Dow Jones and the NASDAQ really unchanged yesterday in drift. Now, looking at commodities, gold and oil remains unchanged. However, when we look at stocks, Apple does go back to its lows and Tesla has a gap down. Now, lastly, looking at cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin also unchanged. So let's take a look at the markets and see what we can expect from today's trading. So here we go. First with the Euro USD. Now it is on its lows. We kind of dripped in yesterday. Didn't do much. I mean, if you look at a daily chart, you'd see that we're really just consolidating here at 106. Now, okay, it is potentially going to jump, but the question is when, and that's what I've been looking forward to later today. Now, looking at the GBP USD, it also retraced, okay, especially with Governor Baily speaking today, and this number coming out at 8 o'clock South African time, which is about a half hour. So if it does get that bounce, this is where it would be. Now, a couple of other things. Canadian dollar didn't do much yesterday. However, look at the Australian dollar, breaking out even further from 64.52, and it's on its lows. We're getting a little bit of a bounce here on the daily chart, but okay, we did breach support, so that's really important. The next real support level is 63. Now, jumping into the Japanese yen, it's on its dead lows, didn't break out lower, okay, but it's there. And like I said, if it could clear 153, it could clear 155, and that's my next resistance-ish level. Not that that's historic resistance, it's just a round number, and that's ostensibly in technical trading, round numbers are really important. Now, jumping into the Turkish Lira, right back down to its record lows at 32.45, nothing changed there. So keep this in mind. We had a roller coaster of a ride, really because Erdogan had lost local elections to other people in certain segments of the country, and we had a correctional move, okay, but then we had a counter correctional move, okay. This is where trading is really great, is because you might not catch the initial move, but you can catch the reactionary move, okay. Now, jumping into the US markets, also drifting just sideways, 17,944. The NASDAQ just a little bit lower, and the Dow Jones did consolidate yesterday, just a little bit of a bounce above 38,000. Now, jumping in commodities, also not doing much, okay? Gold is just hanging out here at 23.79 off of its all-time record highs of 24.30-ish level. So really, all intents and purposes, it's a little bit of a retracement. I don't want to say it's going to have a correctional move, but it is tapering and not really continuing our upwards momentum, so that may happen. Looking at crude oil, just tapering lower just a little bit, dipping below $85 a barrel. Now, jumping into the stocks, Apple back on its lows at 169, and this may break out even lower. So just keep an eye on it, because Apple's a leading indicator also and very important component. Now, looking at Tesla, and this is where it gets important. You got to get stock specific. It's really important to do that. Tesla did gap down yesterday. Look at that. You could barely see it. It's there. Okay, you could see it on a 1 hour chart, 160 down to 156. That's a big gap down. Now, it didn't sell off further, okay? It wasn't a gap and go. It looked like it may want to close up the gap, and that's something to consider, okay, if it does do that. Now, looking at the rest of the stocks, really tapering just sideways, okay? Didn't do much yesterday, but they didn't sell off. So potentially we may get that bounce still. The question is when, okay? Or will we not get that bounce? And I think the next day or two, today and tomorrow, is going to be a telling sign which way we're going to go in these specific markets. Now, lastly, looking at Bitcoin, you can see we're unchanged, 64K at the bottom of that range, really trading a very tight range here as that news came out of halving on April 19th, which is happening this Friday. So with that said, the markets are consolidating. They're drifting after the sell-off. We may get a potential bounce, but be wary on the downside as well. This is Razak. I want to wish you guys a great trading day. Thank you.